Gooseworks just released 4 brand new teasers for episode 2 of the Amazing Digital Circus on their Twitter account, all on the same day, and they tell us a lot more about the story that's actually going to happen. It's like Gooseworks is trying to show us as much as possible without giving away all the details about the show. The first teaser we got is the one where we see Jax, Kinger, and Raggy on a Candy Canyon Kingdom adventure. Right off the bat, the first thing I can say is that the animation is much better, even though the pilot episode was already really realistic. If you look at the photo, you can see that the Ragatha looks a bit different. And then, looking at everything else, you can say that the quality of the animation has increased. But really, looking at the photo itself, Jax definitely did something that pissed Ragatha off to the point where she's pulling her hair. And yet, Jax just has a smug grin on his face, like he's done something bad. But we all know he definitely did something wrong. We just don't know what. And in the background, we see that Kinger has a more confused look on his face, probably meaning that he has no idea why Raggy is so mean and hasn't seen what really happened between them. I guess they all went on an adventure and needed to do something, or collect something, or fulfill some goal. But Jax ruined it because he thought it would be funny to hold them back or see everyone get crazy. And then, of course, Raggy, trying to finish the adventure, gets really mad at Jax. And Kinger never really knows what's going on because if you remember from the first episode, there were a lot of moments where the circus members were talking to Kinger, but he just didn't answer and didn't remember what they said at all, which the second teaser also shows. But looking at the teaser, it's hard to tell exactly what they're doing. It looks like Kinger is behind an ice cream sandwich and Jax is behind a candy cane, and it's hard to tell what Radha is standing on. But the things in front of her look like they could be important to the adventure they're on. It looks like the pink box in front of her might be some kind of lever on the platform she's standing on, and the white stuff might actually be buttons, so maybe they have to crack some kind of code to get into the Candy Canyon Kingdom. And to be honest, now that more teasers for the show are coming out, I'm starting to think that it's entirely possible that episode 2 could even come earlier than May, as Glitch said. They seem to be wrapping things up so fast, and they're dropping a lot of teasers with these screenshots right now. We've seen teasers before, where these were pre-rendered versions of the characters, like teaser number 3, where we saw Pomni snapping her fingers together during a pre-rendering in the animation software glitch, which led me to believe that we're still in the early stages, the stage of revitalizing individual parts of the episode. But now that the teasers are actually fully animated, we can assume that the second episode could be released in early May, or maybe even earlier like April. But that might not be possible, just because we know that Glitch has to release at least episode 7 of Murder Drones before that happens, as they promised the Murder Drones fan base that 2 new episodes will be released in the spring. And if they just ditched Killer Drones for Amazing Digital Circuits, they'd pretty much forget about their original fan base, and that wouldn't be good for the fans. So my guess is that Glitch is nearing completion of episode 2, and they want to release it early, but will release episode 7 of Murder Drones first. So we might still have to wait for episode 2, but that's still good news because if they finish episode 2 early, of course they can wait to release it, but it also means they can start to work on episode 3, and then they can release episode 3 a month after episode 2, maybe in June. However, I'm guessing they might be slowing down the episodes to make them as high as possible. But now, looking at the second teaser released by Gooseworks, we can see a screenshot of Kinger in a completely different pose than in the first teaser. At first glance, you might assume that this is just a blurry and enlarged screenshot from the first teaser. But if you look at his eyes, they are both looking outwards, whereas in the first teaser, you can see that his eyes are straight and looking at Raggy and Jax. And that blur could be one of 2 things. Either Kinger is flying or thrown by something, and the camera following him blurs out. Or it could be that Kinger is just standing there like normal, and instead the camera zooms in or out of him very quickly, causing blur. But it doesn't tell us too much, similar to the third teaser we got, in which Pomni looks absolutely exhausted, and we see again that it's inside the Candy Canyon Kingdom adventure. And I'm assuming all these backgrounds are similar because they're all screenshots from the same scene in the show. And with my theory about Jax screwing up the circus, keeping them from completing the adventure, it's possible that Pomni is also very annoyed with Jax, but she's just showing it in a different way, showing that she's exhausted by all sorts of things, and obviously very different from Raggy, because she was literally pulling her hair out. But the most interesting of all is the fourth teaser. In this photo, we see Jax again, with one of his weird facial expressions, but this time, it looks like he's popping out of some sort of hole. and I honestly don't know where that could have come from. It is possible that he is inside the kingdom and that he climbed the ladder that allowed him to reach the top of the castle. But from the look on his face, he seems to know he's done something wrong and is trying to be sarcastically innocent while holding a finger to his cheek. This makes me think that episode 2 will be full of moments where Jax likes to spoil the adventure for the other characters and delay them. So maybe we saw Jax in a fast food costume. Maybe Caine saw how horrible he was to the other members of the circus in the Candy Canyon Kingdom adventure, and so Caine punished him by making him work at a fast food restaurant. Or maybe it pops out of that hole. Maybe it's an underground mine, or maybe there's a cellar under the castle. And to be honest, out of all these scenes, I'm guessing they're all shot in the same minute, at least from episode 2, possibly related to each other. But the scene where Jax climbs out of the hole and the scene where Jax and Raggy pull out her hair seem like separate events. So it could be true that they are getting close to finishing episode 2 if they are getting this far with the teasers as well. But let me know what some of your theories are down in the comments, and I might make it into a video. Thanks for watching, subscribe, and click on this video.